Hello, my fellow Nigerians. My name still remains Faduri Oluwadare Joseph, aka Father Joe, former presidential aspirant on the Labour Party. I'd like to contribute and also respond to Alhaji Atiku and Governor Peter Obi on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Certificate Saga. It is so sad that many Nigerians are crying foul of the leader we have today. The last 20 years, we have not had the best of leaders in our nation. We have been having leaders who have one problem or one issue or the other. Even when we know them, we still vote them into power. And when we do, after they get into power, we start crying foul. So it is surprising to me that many Nigerians today are crying foul of the president we have in terms of certificate of those certificates, even when we have an idea of who we have as president. Let me make it clear. I am not a supporter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I never supported him, and I'm not still supporting him. But where it is right, I will talk. Where it is wrong, I will talk. I am a voice for Nigerian people, and will continue to be a formidable and positive opposition to the government. Not to overthrow the government, but to put the government in shape, act as checks and balances where it is needed. Now, on the case of the Chicago CSU certificate, first and foremost, I will say that Nigerian Constitution does not even allow more than a primary school certificate or school cert to run for Nigerian presidency. So meaning that a lot is even wrong with our political process and our political requirements. Because if we're going to have a nation and we want to make certificate that important, then we're going to start correction from our political process, our political requirement. That is where we cannot be able to talk and fight where it is needed for anything else that has to do with certificate of our politicians. Within the last 20 years, so many politicians have come with so many certificates that either fake or non-existent. But in the case of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the certificate is becoming an issue now because those who are fronting, especially Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who are fronting the certificate saga, was the man that lost in tribunal. After election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Governor Peter Obi presented their case to election tribunal. But unfortunately, they lost those cases because they had not enough evidence and proof to prove their case. And when the desperate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar felt that what else could he use to fight, then he picked up the issue of certificate. This issue of certificate is a case before Nigerian Supreme Court. And without even waiting for the court to make judgment, we're already prosecuting, maligning, and doing everything on our social media space and political space because we want to malign our president. The Supreme Court has not even ruled on this case. Evidences of this case are before Supreme Court. And instead of us to allow Supreme Court to make the judgment, we are already judging the accused, without proving guilty at the court of law. And that brings me to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Because the law says he who must come to equity must come with clean hands. The question is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar the one fighting and fronting the certificate saga also come with clean hands? We all know Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And I don't think that a Nigerian, any reasonable Nigerian, wants him to be president. Oh, we knew all happened when he was vice president. We knew all that his boss, President Olusegun Obasanjo, said about him. Even his boss could not support him for presidency. That shows the kind of character, the kind of man that he is. And the fight he's fighting, he's not fighting for Nigerians. It is obvious it's a selfish fight. But it's very important for many Nigerians who are fighting alongside with him to understand that Alhaji Atiku is not fighting a fight for Nigeria, because he is not even the one to fight for Nigeria. His hands is as soiled, as dirty as the man that is fighting. But it's surprising to me is Governor Peter Obi that dragged himself alongside with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's fight. Because if Governor Peter Obi must also join himself with the fight is not a fight that you are going to win, because even if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu resign from office today, the next person that will pick up is Alhaji Atiku, not Governor Peter Obi. May I also remind Governor Peter Obi too that under his nose, there is so much crisis in Labour Party. But instead, Governor Peter Obi chose to align himself with illegal chairman, Mr. Abure, against the authenticated by Supreme Court, Alhaji Papa, leader of Labour Party. So now there were a lot of irregularities, there were a lot of forgeries, criminalities perpetrated by Chairman Abure under Mr. Peter Obi, and he looked away. Up to now, looked away and still supporting and parading himself with the illegal chairman. And yet, Mr. Peter Obi is the same one that is coming out and asking somebody else to come clean. The question is, how clean also are you, Governor Peter Obi? How clean are you also, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? To many Nigerians, because many Nigerians are made to feel that, oh, Nigeria has the worst president in the world today. But it is not so. It is not so. The world has always been going through one crisis or the other. And so many leaders around the world have been found one thing or the other. And yet, they remain in power. I'll remind you, for some of you who are listening to my broadcast, that 4 years ago, we had a president in America called Donald Trump, who kept his tax return and many business dealings from American people, lying about everything. 4 years later, after he left office, even when Americans find out all the lies and all the lies and all the lies and all the forgery and everything criminality of Mr. Donald Trump, today, Mr. Donald Trump is still the highest leading candidate for the Republican Party for the next election. America has not fallen. America has not changed to be the country it used to be. So when we begin to debunk, demoralize, and demean our own leader for some people's selfish interest, and we're all driving into it, it is shameful. It is disappointing. Because whatever is happening today, it is shameful, and it is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's social media political drive that we're all buying into. And to see Governor Peter Obi buying into that too is shameful. Instead of him to come home and let's see how we're going to put our party together. Put our party together and get ready for 2027, it's in the media space, trying to be relevant with the Certificate Saga. I was shocked when CSU Chicago even confirmed there was a Tinubu that even attended their university. Because I wasn't even expecting to see such happen. At the level where the school itself has confirmed there was a Tinubu that attended that university, and I think all of us should rest and leave the rest for the court to judge. We're not Supreme Court. So let's leave Nigerian courts to judge the rest of the case and not judging it on political space and media space in a country where so many people are suffering. Now, let's come to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, a man that wants to run Nigeria, but is based and lived in Dubai. The man that wants to be Nigerian president, who doesn't even know what Nigerians are suffering, who only flies from Dubai to Nigeria, do business, and return back to Dubai. A man who spends dollar, not naira, in Dubai every day. The question to ask him is, where were those money? Where did they come from? All we knew about him, he was immigration boss. How much has he made from immigration and VP to have amount for so much money that Alhaji Abubakar has today? spending dollars even more than the Americans that owns the dollar. So this is a man that is not clean in his hands, that has a filthy hands, but is fighting somebody else to come clean. Every leader we have today, every political leaders we have today, have no clean hands. And if there's anything we must do by 2027 is to have a generational shift of power from all of them, including Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, including Governor Peter Obi, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and every one of them, and take our country from this same set of leaders who have been running our country for the last 63 years and create new leadership and new path for our country. So if anyone around the world, if anyone around the world deserves, to be speaking, to be fighting, it shouldn't be Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because we know his antecedent, we know what he has done, we know his records, and we do not even think that at this stage we will want him to be the next Nigerian president. So I want to appeal to all Nigerians. There is nothing that is happening in Nigeria today that has not happened before. There is nothing that's happening in Nigeria today that is unexpected. So I do not imagine that we come on social media and we begin to whip up sentiment for one thing or the other. Let us allow the Supreme Court of the land to finish the case. There is no case, there is no issue in Nigeria that has not happened anywhere around the world. Even United States of America, the country that we all look up to. There is no perfect country anywhere in the world. Israel is in fight, is in crisis, war with Gaza, with Hamas. Russia is at war with Ukraine. Niger and many other African nations, Ethiopia, they're all at war. There is war and no peace everywhere around the world. There are better things to do in our country than creating crises and forming crisis in a nation where an average Nigerian cannot even eat 1 square meal a day. I want to appeal to all Nigerians to please let us stop. Let us stop. Let us stop all this social media rant. And let's allow the Supreme Court, the judge of the land, the justice of the land, to come into play and delve into the matter before it. And after that, we can now begin to look at the cases we have on ground. And if we have more fight to fight, let's leave a president that have immunity and wait for him in 2027 to put this out, for him to be disqualified to run for Nigerian president. But right now, I do not see this fight as a fight for those who are fighting it, that they are fighting for Nigeria. I see it as a fight, a selfish fight for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, a selfish fight to want to become Nigerian president by all costs, and in spite of all his own shortcomings. And also, I want to appeal for Governor Peter Obi, do not allow yourself to be dragged into an issue that does not concern you. You also have your own filthy ends that you cannot also explain to the world. I expect Governor Peter Obi now to even come and explain to the world how much he raised during election. These are questions that the party has been asking you. How much you raised during election, how much you have spent, how much is left. All of that too. Labour Party, Nigerians are not even aware and have no record of this. These are things that Labour Party, Governor Peter Obi, and the rest of the world needs to know, that you have not also told the world. So he who must come to law or must come to equity must come with clean hands. Every one of you has a soiled hands, and some of you are not fit to be the one fighting, to ask Mr. President to come clean to the world. Let the case before the Supreme Court be judged by the Supreme Court, and by then we'll put all these things to rest. I remain Faduri Oluwadare Joseph, aka Father Joe, the leader of the Rescue Initiative for New Nigeria, Rescue for Nigerian Movement, and also a former aspirant presidential of the Labour Party. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May God bless you, and may God bless me. Thank you.